Hello everybody, this is Miss Gustafson and I'm going to be talking about our color wheel project. So for this project you are able to use any physical art materials that you have, but it's really important that you have all 12 colors or can make all 12 colors of this color wheel. To begin, you're going to need something that's round, some type of paper, and the image that you're going to work with. So I was looking at some mountains and I'm going to be drawing my own. But here are some other samples of silhouettes that you can use to get some ideas for your project. You want something with maybe some positive and negative space to really push that artwork further. So I'm going to hand draw my own, but you are welcome to print out a silhouette. You just need to make sure it's small enough for the paper that you're working with. Now think about something that you like for this silhouette because that's what you're going to need for this project. It's about yourself. So I did mountains because I like hiking. Now I colored in a portion of this just to show where the color from my color wheel is going to go in this image. Now the next step is going to prep your paper for a graphite transfer. So I'm taking the paper that I'm working on out from underneath it and using the side of my pencil to build up a layer of graphite. That is what is called what is inside your pencil. It's not lead, it's actually called graphite, and we're going to build that up on the opposite side of your drawing or your silhouette. And we're going to put that to the side for a moment. The next step is going to be prepping our paper that we're going to be having our color wheel on. I'm working with a piece of printer paper and I'm folding it in half one way and then I'm going to fold it in half the other way. This is so I can find the center of this paper. You don't need to press super hard, just lightly so you can see the center. You do not need to be a perfect folder, just so you can get a gist of where the center is. The next part is going to be taking that round object and lightly tracing around it. The key word is lightly. You want to use your pencil very lightly so that you could erase this later on. So we're going to be cutting the circle into 12 pieces. So first we're going to start with the two lines going up and down, and then we're going to focus on one pie slice and draw the letter V. Trying our best to get equal sides, but it's okay. So do this on half, draw two letter V's, and then you're going to want to grab a straight edge. It could be a ruler. I ended up just grabbing a piece of a scrapbooking book that I have to use the edge so that I can go across the other side of this circle. Take your time and go super light with that pencil because you can always erase easier with light pencil. Once this is done, we are ready for the next step. Now that we have all 12 sections, we're going to begin labeling it. So I'm going to start with one of the primary colors, and I know across from that is the complementary of red is green. Now I'm going to show you a color wheel so you can start adding in your colors. It does not matter what color you start with, but it does matter the order. So please refer to the color wheel that is right here and start where you would like. If you'd like to start with yellow, the next color next to it would yellow, green, green, and so on. This is part of our grade, so it's really important that we are correctly placing the colors on this color wheel. So here I am, I'm just filling out my color wheel, and I am abbreviating the tertiaries. I also did draw some nice little ghost lines out to the edge to help me see the sections. The next step is the graphite transfer. This is where the magic happens. So you're going to take that image that you have loaded up with graphite in the back, hold with one hand so it doesn't slip, and then take your other hand and trace your lines. Now trace everywhere that the outline is. Then keeping at least a finger or a hand there, peel it up to check it, and it correctly transferred. Now I'm going to be repeating this for all 12. I'm going to start with my primary colors, then do the secondary color boxes, and then I'm going to do the tertiaries. The tertiary mountains are going to be hidden behind the primaries and the secondaries if they overlap. It's okay if they overlap, because you get to erase part of it if you'd like them to overlap. Now if you notice that it looks very faint as you're tracing, you might need to reload with graphite. So make sure when you reload with graphite, you're not doing this on your paper, you're doing it separately because it might get graphite on your work. So there we go, I have all 12 traced. Now I'm going in with pen to really show my silhouette. Now you can see that I'm overlapping some of them so that I erase the pencil and I'm figuring out which ones I'd like to overlap. You don't have to outline your objects. You can if you would like though. And I went back in and just rewrote the names of the colors underneath the mountains. Now here is where you can push your artwork further. If you keep the color wheel in the center and color it in with a giant silhouette in the middle, That's how we can exceed expectations. I'm going to erase it for now and work on my example with just meeting, but at the end of the video, you do see mine with the exceedings. So if you'd like to exceed, keep it. If you'd like to just meet, erase it. Okay, so I'm going in, tidying up my paper, erasing the pencil marks. Now go easy when you erase. Hold one hand and gently erase around that so you don't rip your paper. Now I'm going to work with colored pencils, and it's really important that you're reading the sides of the colored pencils. So if it says red, I'm going to use red for this mountain. Now a tertiary of yellow-green, I have that, and I'll be using it for yellow-green. Now I'm cleaning up those mountains before I start coloring as well. So let's color that. So here we are. I have finished coloring in with the colored pencils that have the name of the correct color. But you can see that some of my tertiaries do not have a colored pencil. So now I'm going to need to create that color using my colored pencils. So we have a red-violet, so I'm going to grab red and violet for this example. This technique will also work with crayons as well. If you're using paint, you're just going to mix the colors as well. So with colored pencil, I'm going to go nice and light for the first layer, barely pushing on this colored pencil. So to show you a quick scale of how pressure can create value, I'm taking a piece of scrap and I'm going light and then slowly adding more pressure with that color, and you can see a monochromatic scale I'm creating with that colored pencil. So now I'm going to finish this up with the red, going nice and light, and then I'm going to do the same with the violet, nice and light with that same color violet. Go back in with the red, slowly adding a little bit more pressure with each layer that I add to create this tertiary color. This is what I did for all of my mountains. Now, as you can see in this video, I'm starting to clean up my mountains. This is an example of exceeding. I've taken my color wheel and kept it in the center and filled in that silhouette. Now I'm even going back in and I'm adding a little value scale with stippling in my mountain top. I could continue this to do this on all of my mountain tops. This is a way that I'm pushing my artwork further. The requirements are 12 colors in the correct order of the color wheel, but here I am pushing my artwork further by including that color wheel in the center and with some value scale as well. If you have any questions or comments on this assignment, please reach out either during our office hours, in class, or email. Can't wait to see your artwork.